Okay, good day to everyone. So today we will be having lesson 3 of Philippine pop culture. The topic will be Philippine pop culture and experience economy. For this one, we will be determining the existing pop culture in our country. To start off, so there's your pretest. So make sure that you comply on the activities that are being posted in our Google Classroom. So moving forward, let's first have an overview of what globalization is. So under that, ano tayo? Globalization in the Philippines and its effect in our culture. So in definition, ang globalization is a structural phenomenon that is increasingly increasingly gearing us towards interdependence and interconnectedness in all various parts of the world. So mayroong tatlong aspeto ang globalization: transformation, advancement, and interdependence. I don't know if you were able to discuss this on your comma 100, but this was mentioned, yung globalization. So with globalization, transformation, technological advancement, and interdependence are inevitable. Nangyayari siya talaga. With that saying, transformation na may global na related to globalization, there are changes. Kung yung cliche na saying na there's nothing permanent in this world but change, ito yung talaga yon. Kasi kung ano yung nangyari from last year ay iba talaga na sa nangyayari na ngayon at mas mabilis. So technological changes, societal changes, cultural changes, economic changes. The economic changes, paano na ba to the simpleng paraan na ng pagbili ng mga bagay-bagay. Dati, paano ba tayo namimili sa palengke? O kahit man lang pag-grocery. Hanggang sa pumasok na yung e-commerce na instead na pumunta ka ng SM, di ba? Punta ka na lang ng Shopee o kaya ng Lazada. Cultural changes, yung acculturation, yung pag-adapt natin ng iba't ibang mga kultura. If not adoption, pag-appreciate natin ng kultura at saka yung cultural differences per generation. Sama na natin dyan yung mindset. And changes in our society na affected ng cultural changes. Alright? Technological advancement, yung mga technological revolution. From the past years, yung sa 10 dekada na nakalipas, siguro merong isa o dalawang technological change na nangyari doon. Diba? Yung pagkakabit lang ng telepono, umabot ng ilang dekada bago nagkaroon ng subscription. Halos lahat ng mga bahay dito lang sa atin sa Bulacan. Okay, remember kami, nagka-PLDT lang kami 2014. Diba? For the longest time. But, nung talagang in-need na siya, diba, ginawa na ng paraan ng mga providers, internet providers na mapapabilis yung proseso ng pagkakaroon ng ganitong technology sa mga bahay-bahay natin. Diba? Next. Ano pa? Yun lang technology na yung adoption natin ng mobile phone, laptop. Dati parang kailangan yayamanin ka bago ka magkaroon ng cellphone. Tapos ang palit mo every 3 years, every 5 years, as long as gumagana pa, yun pa rin. Yun pa rin na ginagamit ko. Pero pag halimbawa, iniiwanan ka na, that's the time napapalitan mo. So, ngayon ang dami, parang Meron ka ng, yung iba nga, meron ng laptop, meron pang cellphone, meron pang tablet. Especially nowadays, diba, yung mga providers, yung mga manufacturers ng technology, Samsung and Apple in particular. Kaya nga meron silang yung sa Apple, yung meron silang nakasync lahat ng devices mo for na kinikater nila. Yung iPhone mo, nakasync sa iPad mo, nakasync sa laptop mo. Diba? Kaya nga sila may tinatawag na iCloud. Para lahat, para yung access mo sa kanilang lahat, nakasync siya in every part, in every gadget that you have. Yun ang pambenta ng ng Apple. Mag-update lang ng konti. 100,000 kagad ang itinaas ng isang app ng bawat ng bawat gadget update nila, di ba? O same goes with Samsung, nagtatapatan silang dalawa. Alright? Next, interdependence. Diba? Nangyayari naman yan. Dati meron naman na talaga, yung pumupunta sa abroad para magtrabaho, yung labor, yun nga, di ba, napag-ano natin yan, pag-aralan natin yan sa mass communication theories, na yung world system, na kada bansa, meron silang role sa isang world system. So tayo, more on labor tayo, pumupunta tayo sa ibang countries para manilbihan, if not manilbihan, magbigay ng serbisyo natin. In exchange na meron tayong pinapadalang mga dollar, may pumapasok na dollars sa Pilipinas. Parang gano'n. Nowadays, ang interdependence nangyayari is yung trabaho on the comfort of your own homes. Nandiyan na yung virtual assistant ka, call center agent ka, di ba? Eventually, malay natin, di ba? Magkaroon na ng, and nowadays, nagkakaroon na ng, if you want to have online classes, galing sa ibang university, sa abroad, pwede na. Diba sila naman na nagdadala sa atin ng bagong knowledge and technology and wisdom when it comes to the educational, to education. Interdependence. So, kumbaga, yung mga bansa, isa rin to sa mga dahilan bakit yung mga mayayaman na country lalong lumayaman. Kasi non-stop at saka yung mga mayaman na tao na yung mayaman kasi non-stop yung kanilang pag-ooperate dahil meron ng kahit tulog sila, may someone na nag-ooperate for them. Dahil nasa ibang panig ng daigdig. Baka kaya nauso ang night shift. Diba? Interdependence. Next, as a result, Chen claimed that the flux and complexity of changes will continue to increase in years ahead and challenge the fundamental assumption and belief on which modern people have to live with. So this is inevitable, irreversible. Dahil, if you would try to go against it, ikaw yung mahihirapan. Example lang natin. Yung online classes. Pag wala kang gadget at internet connectivity ay importante, ay requisite para makapag-avail ka na online. May iwan ka. Hindi ka makaka-join. Kasi nilalabanan mo yung kung ano na yung paparating. Mahirap na kalaban ang globalization. Kasi nandyan na siya. Globalization is here to stay. Lalago lang siya, hindi siya mawawala. Hindi tayo babalik doon sa sinaunang panahon na makinilya pa yung ginagamit. Rather, mag-a-advance pa tayo into a more sophisticated and if not sophisticated yet convenient way of living. Diba nauso na nga yung yung tipong nakaano ka na, parang mas mahihirapan ka pag hindi ka sumakay. Parang lang yun sa diffusion of innovation. Umabot na sa point na kailangan mo na siyang gamitin kasi eto na yung mas papadali sa buhay mo. Diba? Mas marami nang bumibili ngayon, example, mas marami nang innovation, yung twister map, mas marami nang bumibili ngayon ng nung twister map, yung automatic, yung map na alam niyo yun, yung map na medyo social. Kaysa doon sa Dikahoy, napipigain mo. Nandun ka na sa Dipiga, babalik ka pa doon sa Dikahoy. Parang ganun lang yun. Inevitable. Yan yung mga simpleng example ng globalization na nangyayari sa buhay. Alright? Next, ano pa ba ang definition ng globalization? It is defined as deterritorialization. Nawawala ang territory. Nagiging borderless, especially when it comes to telecommunication. Like I've mentioned, di ba? Mas mabilis ang, kumbaga, nawawala na yung sense of time zone. And yung sense na naka-homesick, na di ba pag nasa abroad ka, or ikaw, yung nanay mo nasa abroad, minsan you feel lonely. So parang nandun ka na rin pagkausap mo siya via messenger. Di ba? Alright. So nawawala ang territory per place. Next, link the growth of social interconnectedness across existing geographical and political boundaries. Ito, for example, ito pa, yung yung connectedness mo or pag-socialize mo kahit wala ka dun sa lugar. Siguro, ito, connected kasi yung 1 and 2, deterritorialization. I mean, you don't have to be there to stay connected. Parang nowadays, parang ngayon, di ba? Gumagamit tayo ng virtual platform para makapasok kayo sa school. So, interconnected kayo. I mean, deterritorialization kayo, nasa bahay kayo, nag-aaral kayo, pero at the same time, pero hindi kayo umalis sa bahay. Kumbaga, nawawala yung boundaries na hindi kayo makakapunta, hindi kayo makakapasok, hindi kayo makapag-aral dahil wala kayo sa school. Hindi, nakapag-aral kayo kasi you are connected through internet. Alright? Next, globalization is related to speed and velocity in social activities. Efficiency in communicating proves this definition. Di ba, nauso yung mga mobile application na yan. Lalo na nagkaroon ng pandemic, yung mga mobile application yan, operated siya ng internet most often. Dati sa sobrang takot natin na tayo ay lumabas or talagang bawal lumabas at limited ang oras mo para lumabas, gumawa ng way para ikaw ay gumawa ng way para ang mga applications para makapagbayad ka ng bills. Diba yan yung mobile transfer. Kaya nga nandiyan yung mga InstaPay, PesoNet, yung GCash, bank-to-bank transfer, nakakapagbayad ka ng mga, nakaka-purchase ka online because of that. Hindi mo kailangan pumunta na ng bangko para kumuha ng pera. Yan lang. Kumbaga ita-transfer lang sa'yo, magkakaroon ka agad ng, ng money. Pag may business ka, same goes. Diba? May small business ka. At kumbaga, iniiwasan mo na magkaroon ng na mahawakan pa yung pera na papasok sa iyo para diretso halimbawa sa bangko mo. So idadaan mo na lang siya sa GCash tapos after the day tsaka mo siya i-transfer sa bangko mo. Yun nga lang, may kaakibat yan mga little amount, convenience fee na tinatawag. Pero kung i-convert mo naman siya dun sa gagasusin mo pag pupunta ka pa ng bangko, it's very small. So, sasacrifice mo na yung convenience fee para, convenience, para hindi ka napupunta dun sa mga dapat mong pupuntahan sa mga dapat mong puntahan para lang ma-process yung isang bagay. Especially pinakagamitin yan, yung speed and velocity na yan, yung so sa ng social activities yan nga, yung mga transaction natin sa business, sa shopping, sa money transfer, sa bills payment. Halimbawa kayo ay nasa in the future kayo ay adulting na. So minamanage niyo na yung inyong mga finances, 'di ba? Halimbawa may trabaho na kayo. So instead na, 'di ba, habang alam mo 'yun, habang kailangan mo na magbayad ng bills. Halimbawa, sinabi ng nanay mo. So instead na ikaw ay lalabas para pumila, punta ka ng bayad center para magawa yung ganung transaction. Pag sinabi mo na, ito na yung bill, magbayad ka na. Even in the comfort of your own room, na may internet, makakapagbayad ka ng bills. Alright? It should be conceived, or globalization is conceived as a relatively long-term process. Hindi naman siya nangyayari ng instant. Ang globalization nangyayari na siya way back. Historical-wise, mamaya di-discuss natin yan. Or later on, di-discuss natin yan. Bakit ano na yung globalization na nangyayari way back? But then, ngayon lang siya nagmamanifest ng todo dahil sa aid ng internet at mas mabilis siyang nangyayari. Multi-pronged dahil hindi lang naman sa isang aspeto nangyayari. Lahat ng mga aspects sa buhay natin meron ng globalization. Social life mo, may Facebook ka, may Instagram ka. O religious wise, o kung kailangan mo, di ba may mga online, meron kayong yung gathering online, di ba nangyayari na yon. Your education now, di ba? Itong ginagawa natin. Cultural and yung globalization, yung habits mo as a youth. Kultura mo na yan bilang youth. Nakakaiba na dun sa kultura ng mga matatanda. I mean, ng mga baby boomer, ng mga elderly sa atin. Diba? Sa kultura natin, alam na natin mag-navigate around laptops, around cellphone, mga application, kaya natin i-discover on our own sila, yung mga later, mga tita natin, mga lolo natin, mga nanay natin. Kailangan nila ng guidance. Ito pa yung isang simple na, yung kultura ng password. Di ba tayo? Tatandaan tayo sa kung ano yung password natin na ginagamit every time mag-login tayo sa mga applications natin. Sila kailangan, yung older generation, sila kailangan nila tayo para matandaan yung passwords nila. At yan naman na, sinulat na nila at lahat, nagkakamali pa rin sila dun sa passwords nila. So major trend, there are two major trends, technological development and economical transformation. Sa technological development, lagi kumbaga in-expect na lang talaga natin na every year, kaya ba, ngayong month na to, susunod na month, may bago na namang innovation, may bago na namang technology na lalabas. I think last month, lumabas na yung iPhone 13. Ang MacBook, lumabas na rin. Ang dami ng mga bagong brands ng laptops. Diba? Nandiyan na i7, diba? i5, i3. At ang mga cellphones ngayon, ang RAM nila, mga bigati na. Diba? Baga, developing na lang siya talaga. Hindi na lang, kumbaga, hindi ka nauurong magbabago lang siya towards advancement. And economical transformation, yun nga, example, pinaka-obvious na example is yung ating purchasing manner. How do we shop nowadays? At nandiyan na nga, di ba, yung mga, kung halimbawa, nagugutom ka, o di ka makalabas, order ka lang, may mga applications. Tapos, halimbawa, yung kultura ng delivery. Another say. Diba? Kumbaga, iba na rin yung, at saka yung manner of payments natin, iba na. Dati, meron pa rin cash basis. Pero nowadays, ang dami na nating option. Pwedeng bank to e-wallet. Kaya nga nagkaroon ng tinatawag ng mga e-wallets. Okay. Next. Impact of globalization, virtual interactions. So parang ito nga, social media platforms, video conferencing. Cultural awareness in speech, we distinguish one's culture with the way they verbally communicate. Example, yung Koreans, their level of linguistic pattern is addressed to formal to casual are very entirely different. Tayo, sa paggamit natin ng po and opo, perhaps sila nare-realize na rin nila na tayong mga Pilipino are using that kind of speech when it comes to respecting other people. Pero mas ano talaga, yung if you're into K-drama, di ba napapansin niyo na iba yung level sa pag-usap ng mga tao pag nakakatanda sa kanila, at obvious na obvious yun. Kasi sa kaedad nila, kasi mga kaibigan nila, nagkakaroon tayo ng awareness na ganyan. Alright? Cultural awareness in body language. Kaya, example natin, pagmamano. Nakikita na rin ng ibang mga kultura yan. At saka, di ba, yung bowing, iba yung, kumbaga may ibang mga kultura na they are into bowing just to show respect. Time difference. The emergence of call center is a great proof that time difference is essential. Companies tend to operate 24/7 around the globe because of the time difference. The company never sleeps because while half the world is resting, half the world is awake, operating and making the operation continue. Next, yung globalization ay nangyari na nga even before through galleon trades. So from some historians and anthropologists alike, the Acapulco-Manila galleon is intrinsically linked to the origin of globalization. Considering that this trans-Pacific route, the first of its kind, kicked off another chapter in the Silk Road, or perhaps created a new silver corridor due to the importance of Mexican silver to the trade of exquisite and exotic goods, which gradually become part of our daily lives. In this way, the mark of Acapulco-Manila galleon is the historical bond between Mexico and the Philippines is unquestionable. The impact, however, has always been, of course, reciprocal, as can be seen in the cultural and gastronomic influences in our countries. Ingredients such as corn, chilies, cocoa, vanilla, and pineapples are added to the Philippine cuisine, while cinnamon, cloves, pepper conquer the Mexican plate. So nagpapalitan tayo ng mga foods. Right? Moreover, the contacts facilitated by Acapulco-Manila galleon are still echoed today through Tequila and Tuba, Rebozo and Monton de Manila, Guyabuera, and the Barong Tagalog, just to mention a few. So, because of that, nagkaroon ng exchange ng mga commodities ang Philippines at ang Mexico. Right? So, marami pa. Apart from that, siguro, nagkaroon pa ng kumbaga, still, parang ano pa rin yan, yung parang adaptation and influences of culture. The Philippines and the dawn of globalization. So, nagsimula ang globalization sa atin per se nung pumasok ang Spanish. Right? What's this? So, ang nagdala ng, kumbaga, nitong commercial, ay si Agustinian Friar Andres de Urdaneta. Yeah. So, pumasok, dala nila yung una, naghahanap lang sila ng spices. Actually, yun talaga ang pinapunta ng mga Espanyol, the Spice Island. Kaya lang napadpad sila sa Philippines. Then, doon nagsimula na nasakop tayo. So, apart sa pagsakop, nagpalito naman tayo ng mga commodities. So, may mga, yung mga Filipino, nakakuha sila ng something na bago galing sa Spain. And same goes yung Spain, nakakuha sila ng mga bagay, commodities galing sa Philippines. Yan. So much for that. Yeah, dito na tayo. Globalization in the Philippines. Globalization has been very effective in the Philippines. There have been major changes in the economy since 1995, when Philippines took part of the signing agreement of the World Trade Organization. There have been changes in the country such as labor, and more companies have emerged to help the economy, especially now. Di ba nagkaroon ng mga small businesses? Mas nakatulong yan sa ekonomiya natin kasi more, mas marami ang creators ng trabaho kesa doon sa naghahanap ng trabaho. Globalization has been rapidly developing in the Philippines since the influence of the United States during the World War II. So what are the advantages of globalization in the Philippines? High level of education, true enough. Export-oriented agricultural sector that has generated more than sufficient foreign exchange. Nag-i-export na tayo ng mga crops natin at mga food products. Because of the industrial sector growth, the Philippines is one of the highest per capita income in the Southeast Asia way back. Ano naman ang disadvantages? Right? Of course, there are 80 million people that live in the country and 60% live in poverty. So in a comment, the economy is doing well, but still not up to par when it comes to other countries. Struggling pa rin, striving pa rin. So because marami tayong population, hindi naman magkakaroon ng, kumbaga, ang trabaho. Yes, there is hunger for the lower class, and the economy is majorly agricultural. So if something happened to the crops, halimbawa may typhoon, syempre maapektuhan yung ating economy. Alright. So ano-ano ba yung crops na contribution natin sa trades in the globalization? Yan, rice, corn, kamote, and cash crop, yan, coconut, fruits, bananas, pineapple, di ba? Mangga, vegetables, sugar, tobacco, abaca. Minerals, because our country has so many unsurveyed and undeveloped resources ng mineral, meron tayong copper, gold, nickel, chromium, iron, manganese, etc. Kaya lang, ang di lang magandang effect nito is yung pag may nagka-quarrying, syempre, naapektuhan yung land structure natin. So, and ang result, landslides. At laging may kabayaran yung ating mga ginagawa towards ating resources. Alright? So we must use our resources wisely. Kaya nga nagkaroon ng mga batas. Halimbawa, yung pinagbabawal, binaban ng mga quarrying sa mga lugar na talagang wala na talagang ma-exhaust at naging prone na sa landslide. Another is, syempre, religion, ang isa sa part ng globalization, ang naging influence sa atin ng globalization. Yan, ang Christianity, Catholicism, other forms of Christianity, and there is Muslim and other religion na non-Christian. Ang pagpasok ng mga international companies, ito lang yung a few, pero mas marami pa dyan. Mas marami nang nakapasok mga international companies na kumbaga hindi lang na din mapangalanan because sobrang dami na din talaga nila. Alright? And then the people. So ito naman talaga is yung mixed races ng mga people. For example niya, si Vanessa Hudgens, si Shay Mitchell, kung nakilala to, si Nicole Anderson, at yung mga Phil-American or Phil-British or yung mga half-half na mga celebrities. Minsan nga, hindi na lang celebrities, nakakapag-penetrate na sila sa mga international scenes. Sila, Filipino sila. Alright? Diba? Ano ba? Example, yung mga Filipino at saka Pilipina na nakakasama sa mga K-drama. Di ba meron din yung, if naalala nyo, yung may babae na yung sa Dr. Romantic, yung babae na minamolestya. Ay, minamolestya yung nagkakaroon ng yung domestic violence, Filipina siya eh. Tsaka yung sa Squid Game, nowadays, yung lalaki doon. Diba? Filipino yon. Kalimutan ko yung pangalan niya. What else? Ang dami ng mga half Filipino, half foreign, may half foreign blood na nasa international scene. Alright? New globalization and its challenges. The fast-paced confluence of social and economic changes brought by the shifting technology is influence greatly the flow of trade goods, resources, and income in the world economy of recent decades. This phenomena is present, in its present form is the new globalization. The shift in technology. The past decade of globalization have created wide-ranging changes and challenges to national economies, societies, and respective communities. The world is ever more connected through the separate and mingled influence of these forces of changes. Leaps and advances in the digital computer technology have accelerated the pace of change and made them more widespread today. So yan na yung new globalization. Yung shift of technology na mas napabilis, mas naging efficient, mas naging convenient sa atin majority of the time. Although challenge siya to learn at first, pero pag nakasanayan na natin, mas madali nang nagagawa yung mga dapat nating gawin sa ating buhay-buhay. Alright? Next. Mega challenges posed by globalization. A United Nations study that revealed the challenges posed by new globalization emphasizes 3 mega trends that face the world nation today. First one, impact of production changes in labor market. Mechanization, artificial intelligence, and the threat of rapid displacement of labor. Ito nga lang yung trend, kumbaga, yung sa labor market, dahil puro machines na yung gumagana, the tendency is na nababawasan yung pangangailangan for human labor. So mababawasan ng trabaho. Diba? Halimbawa lang, matagal ng panahon yung gardenia. Sa gardenia, I remember 18 lang ang empleyado nila. I think, or less than that. Kasi halos lahat ng kanilang lahat ng operation nila, machine. Alright? Next, mega trend number 2, reference of the rapidity of changes in technology. Yung isa, parang yung uso ngayon, bukas iba na. Yun. Baka kinabukasan, kaya ang dami, yung cellphone mo kumbaga, na nagagamit mo pa naman, nagiging outdated because yearly nagkakaroon ng mga bagong changes and updates. Next is the impact in the environment in we live, the climate change. Because of, syempre, ang dami ang machine ay nagpo-produce, ang mga machines nagpo-produce ng init. It contributes naman on our global climate. Mas mainit ang panahon ngayon as compared before. Una-una din sa mga sasakyan. Nangyari nga dyan, di ba, nung nagkaroon ng first time, yung unang lockdown, pinag-compare yung skyline ng before the pandemic at yung after the pandemic. Isang linggo lang ha, skyline ng Manila. Di ba? Kumbaga, yung mas clear yung naging skyline nung nabawasan yung mga sasakyan at mas lumamig yung environment. Naramdaman natin yung simoy ng hangin, yung natural breeze. Because nabawasan ang sasakyan sa kalsada during that time. At syempre, because may mga factory na kailangan na nagpo-produce ng mga waste, it affects our climate. Yan pa, yung paggamit pa nga, isang effect yung if we are going to extract our minerals and resources, no? If you're going to extract minerals and resources, doon sa mga kabundukan natin, ang environmental effect niya, yun nga, lalambot yung soil, hindi na kagaya dati na sturdy and strong. Effect niya, pag umulan, landslide. Alright? So luckily, in the environment in which we work, is also one of that enable us to move faster. As individual and as human groups, we can act faster because information flow and communication costs are cheaper. Totoo naman, di ba? Dati, yung text piso isa. So pag halimbawa, pag nag-load ka ng 20, 10 text, 20 times ka lang pwedeng mag-reply. Kaya tipid na tipid ka. Eh ngayon, only 1 to sawa ang messenger. Cheaper. Lagi tayo dun sa mura. Kung mayroong libre, dun tayo lagi sa libre. Right? Next. Isa na lang natin ng konti. Now. Understanding the new globalization implication for the Philippines. Recommendation for the Philippines. Economic restructuring. Kailangan natin i-molde yung ating sistema na gearing towards digital trade and services. Na nangyayari naman na ngayon. So far. Kasi di ba nabawasan na yung cash payment, marami na tayo options for payment, di ba? Marami na tayong ways to transact, di ba? Halimbawa, kung kayo ay online shopper like me, di ba binigyan na ako ng option ni Shopee ng ng SPay later, yung mga ganun. Si GCash, binigyan na ako ng G-Credit, yung mga ganun. Meron na silang ganung mga bagay-bagay. Diba? Kumbaga, kaysa mag-cash payment ako lagi, kailangan pa siyang ibigay ng physically or hindi siya ganun ka-convenient na cash payment. Although, convenient pa rin kung halimbawa COD na dyan yung rider, ganyan. But then, mas safe for safety and security purposes. Diba? Ito, ano lang, side katip. Kapag kayo ay nagbayad ng via GCash, pag paid na, minsan, ano yan, kumbaga, sa delivery, priority kayo. Paano ko nalaman? Tinanong ko kay Kuya Ryder. Ma'am, kasi inuuna namin yung mga non-COD. Kasi paid na po sila. Kasi mawala namin, di ba, kachika ko na si Kuya. Ganon. Another example, kung meron kayo, kung mahilig kayo kumain, magpa-deliver ng food. Di ba merong application yung order mo, kaya mga food panda, yung mga ganyan. Di ba? Meron na silang option din na ano, na GCash. Hindi lang credit card, hindi lang COD. Yan, digital trades na yan. Para example ng digital trade, yung mga companies, pumapasok na sila sa Shopee, sa Lazada. So si SM, meron na silang Shopee store. Same goes with Lazada store. So yung mga international brands din, ganun din. So if they want, mas luwawak yung market, yung reach ng market nila. So ganun din ang Philippines. Diba? Sa Philippines, kumbaga, we are really adapting that kind of digital trades. Alright? Next. Where are you? Ay, sorry. Ito pala yun. Mga naka-bullets. Alright. For the worsening inequality, para daw ma-resolve ito, there should have an implementation and policies to promote basic education. Right? So, kumbaga magkaroon ng support ang public or public support for the access to education. So nowadays, di ba, parang nung magkaroon naman ng Duterte administration, na-resolve naman siya in that manner. Na nagkaroon ng free education. Right? Invest in quality education to upgrade the workforce with the 21st century skills. Yun nga, in relation to giving free education, dapat ipine-prepare ng educators ang mga future professionals, especially sa higher education, na magkaroon ng 21st century skills. Itong mga skills na to, yung ICT, example niyan, ICT skills, your decision making when it comes to your finances, financial education, and some marami pang iba. Lalayo lang tayo, pero try to search for 21st century skills. Kumbaga para lang itong mga common sense. Parang more on the skills na kailangan ng common sense, parang ganun. Pero for the sake of argument, let's have that. "21st Yan. Ang 21st century skills, yan, comprehensive guide of 21st century skills. Critical thinking, communication skills, creativity, problem solving, perseverance, collaboration, information literacy, technological skills and digital literacy, media literacy, global awareness, self-direction, social skills, literacy skills, civic skills, social responsibility, innovation skills, and thinking skills. So what are the importance of this? Yan nga, higher education and business leaders have these skills that you will, ito yung inyong magiging, magagamit nyo sila when you already have, you already have graduated. Social media, age of the internet, your knowledge. So much for that. Let's resume our discussion. Another recommendation for to alleviate us or to face, in order for us to face the new globalization, is craft labor market policies to strike a balance between labor protection and labor market flexibility. So magkaroon ng policy na magbibigay pa rin ng trabaho sa mga tao, at the same time makapagbibigay pa rin ng convenience on adopting the technologies, the machines used for, kumbaga, magkaroon ng 1:1. Kada isang, walang papalitan na tao ang machine. Parang gano'n. Magkaroon ng balance. Hindi entirely machine ang dapat gumagawa ng manufacturing. Also meron pa ring employment. Right? Implement reforms and promote innovation towards financial inclusion. This is more on the business. Siguro will not deal so much with this. Strengthening progressivity and targeting social protection system. Especially sa health, din siguro. And also yung, this is related kasi on the taxation. Na hindi tayo ma-over. Kumbaga, merong, kumbaga, yung taxation natin would be much, kumbaga, mayroong safeguarding. Hindi tayo sinisingil ng sobra-sobra. Diba? O may reforms dun sa mga in-implement naman na talaga siya, yung mga malaki ang earnings, ito yung percent na binabayaran, yung mga minimum, kaya nga meron tayo mga minimum earners ng 25,000 and below, wala silang tax na binabayaran. Yun yung isang implementation. Another recommendation is yung global public goods. So to implement that, leverage regional and international platform to enhance delivery of local services. So nangyayari naman na to, di ba? Kumbaga, yung basic lang na ginagawa natin sa buhay natin, yung mga delivery natin na all over the country or even internationally, di ba yung courier and logistics system, kumbaga nagkakaroon tayo ng experience to possess yung mga global products because of the new system na ginawa on our purchasing, when we purchase. Diba dati kailangan pagbaga kung gusto mo ng imported na ganito, kailangan pang ibubook mo pa yan sa FedEx o kaya sa yung isa pang courier nila. And nowadays, isang platform lang. Kung Shopee lang. Kung mayroon silang international market, sila na ang bahalang mag-ship papunta sa bahay. Another way to implement Support international action to increase provision of global goods, especially those that are particularly beneficial to the country. So for the Philippines, for instance, unilaterally providing public goods for global benefits. Example, communicable disease control and counterterrorism measures ultimately impact the well-being of local population. However, this benefit may be more cost-effectively when provisions are coordinated globally. So ito nga, di ba, so pagka mayroong tulad ngayon, ngayong global health crisis natin, lahat ng implementation na pinababa ng CDC, international yan, Center for Disease, nakalimutan ko yung C, yung ng WHO, di ba? Ina-adapt natin yan. Kaya gumagawa tayo ng local version for that. At ang nag-i-implement naman yan yung IATF. Ito yon. Support sa action ng international scene na ginagawa naman natin sa local. Alright? Bawa yung pagdating ng mga vaccines. Ano yung mga side effects ng vaccine based sa WHO? Nasasabihin din naman ng DOH at yung mga restrictions, na ginagawa natin ay may provision yon na galing sa WHO. Pag ganito ang dami ng inyong cases, dapat ganito kayo. So meron tayong counterpart ng mga alert levels at saka mga quarantine, community quarantine. Right? Strengthen national and local capacity to harness benefits from global public goods and minimize risk of public bans. Like I've mentioned, yun nga, kumbaga, the government needs to abreast the international convention and the best practices. Siyempre, for the benefit of the whole country. Next, sustain national and local initiatives that foster local provision of global public goods. While not necessarily ideal, unilateral provision for public good with global feature may be beneficial. For instance, vaccination, disaster risk reduction and management, and climate change mitigation, which are all large potential spillover benefits, have substantially direct and measurable benefits to the local population. Di ba may mga dumadating nga sa atin ng mga vaccines? Mga donations. I believe nung nakaraan may Sinovac na dumating coming from Japan. Tapos nung mga nakaraang panahon may dumating na Moderna. Right? Social trust and cohesion. So this is another challenge for the new globalization. The confluence of current development in the international stage interweaves with the country-specific events such as resurgence of nationalism that challenges rules-based order, the proliferation of disinformation, and effects towards historical revisionism, which undermine the tenets of democratic institutions. This weakening of institutions at the most inopportune time when the breadth and the depth of social cleavage along the lines of wealth and social and human capital have become more evident. It is, therefore, paramount importance for the Philippines to strengthen the fabric of social trust in institutions and leaders moving forward with the new era of globalization. This can be done through the concerted efforts of government and private sectors and traditional and alternative media platform towards transparency and accountability. So may mga challenges tulad niyang overpowering sa ating nationalism, yung sa historical census natin. So para ma-combat that, yung overpowering ng other influences, kailangan may unity ang government at ang mga private sector to still implement the nationalistic sense of and the Filipino sense in implementing yung mga global influences and concepts. Kaya tulad niyan yung sa implementation ng quarantine ng WHO per country, meron tayong version. Meron tayong, di ba, meron tayong ECQ, GCQ, MECQ, which sa other countries wala. Pero pareho lang din naman ang guiding principle. Pero tayo, tinawag natin siyang ganon kasi yun yung fitting sa ating pangangailangan. The erosion of social cohesion begins with the distrust between and among individuals. Alright? So magkakaroon lang tayo ng unity kapag tayo ay nag-submit towards the pinapa-implement, especially ng government and ng mga and other private or non-government organization that is helping us. Right? Worldwide, the Philippines is a top social media use in the last 4 years. And the government, the private sector, and the digital media platform should work hand in hand to combat the misuse and abuse of this alternative media. So some of the potential measures that country can be implementing should be: so safeguard alternative media platform from exploit as a vehicle of disinformation. Use it wisely. We use social media wisely. Next, promote digital literacy to school. Educate the students to use the digital platform wisely and to so that disinformation and misuse of the social media would be eliminated or lessened. Yon. Those are the two. In additional recommendations, social media, strengthen gatekeeping and inclusivity of traditional media conduct by traditional media's conduct on doing business. Yes, pwede pa rin naman gamitin yung mga principles at yung mga conducts na ginagamit sa traditional media in adoption to the digital media. Kaya, yun nga, i-filter pa din. Kaya nga may mga social media experts na hina-hire or kinukuha ang mga business owners o tayo as being socially responsible on what we post, thinking before we click or surveying it thoroughly before we click, before we post. So encourage CEOs or employers to spearhead trust building in their organization and adopt innovation solution to doing business in public sector through new technology. To shed light to these issues, there is a new engaged international experts. There's a need to engage international experts so the developing economy like the Philippines can fully understand the scope and breadth of the issues and challenges associated with its adoption. Doing so can help ensure that the problem in alternative media platform will not be repeated in the blockchain technology. Ano ba yung blockchain technology? Blockchain technology is a distributed ledger technology that allows data to be stored globally on the 1,000 servers by letting anyone in the network see everyone else's entries in real time. That is difficult for one user to gain control or game in the network. So with this, nagkakaroon, syempre, pag open yan sa lahat, syempre, walang control, may exploit. Pag walang control, may exploit kung ano man yung nandoon. So to avoid that, magkaroon ng expert. And overall, in overall, what do you call this? Addressing the new challenges of the globalization, here, we need to equip ourselves and prepare ourselves into adapting the changes. We move forward and be open and have a more appreciative mindset towards these changes. We cannot go back. All we can do is to move forward and gradually learn this innovation, because this innovation will not be there if it's not for the benefit of benefit of the end users, which is the man or the human. So that ends our lesson for globalization as an introduction to lesson 3. So we will continue our discussion next meeting. Keep safe and